Hello, y'all. Today is Tuesday, uh, July, 21st, 2020. So, they vibrated my body last night. They vibrated my body so heavily last night that I, wanted to run out of this hotel room. I don't know why they've been vibrating me so badly lately. Um, they went back to doing that again, having me vibrating because sometimes in New Orleans between 2017 and 2019 the vibrating somewhat lessened, but in Los Angeles, California, um when it first started in 2015, I think it was nonstop. But then I mean, I ended up homeless during that time. That I couldn't stay in my It's like torture to be in your own house, So what my neighbors used to love me, and then it was like around the time the biological mom Frances died in 2013. Um, then they started to perk me really heavily and doing like extremely cruel stuff, and that other targeted individuals talked about too, like putting dead animals right in front of your doorway and vandalizing your the property. I didn't own it, but I rented, section 8. But whatever they vandalized, I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad I wasn't held responsible. But when I was living in New Orleans towers and like before Hurricane Katrina, before 2005, I've had to deal with people vandalizing my car and my house. Like, I got my car April 21st, 2005, and I ended up, you know, they purposely caused a flat tire before I even went to Costa Rica in May, like the next month. I had the car for not even a month and they vandalized. Um, so, anyway, wow. So the vibrating just stopped. I was vibrating all night last night, and I was vibrating last week in that motel. They like here in Pensacola, they haven't been vibrating my body. I mean, every once in a big blue moon, but this is the most persistent and consistent they were with it since me living here in Pensacola. um, and people want me to shut up complaining about the vibrating too. Um, but people, like I've read it online. Plus, somebody else gave me the advice on Twitter the other day that if they're vibrating your body, make sure you move away from the area. But if, in a place like this, I'm renting this hotel room, and I can't, especially at night, I can't. There's no place for me to go away from this area. Um, there's no place to go. So I was forced against my will to just sit there and tolerate the vibrating abuse and torture. And I wanted to cry last night. Um, it's like, yeah, ever since after I came back from Alabama, they've been vibrating my body more heavily and more frequently. Um, it's like I was able to get me some, a few hours of sleep last night. I think it was about about 5 hours max, probably. But shucks, every time if I say this helps me sleep or that helps me sleep, this product or this method helps me sleep, then they use that, and all of a sudden I can't sleep anymore. So I can't say. I mean, I wish I could tell y'all. I wish I could tell y'all what helped me sleep a little better last night and the 2 nights before. You know, so it's like if I say something bad, they'll make it worse. But if I say something good, they make it bad. And people are still trying to rate how quote unquote positive and how negative the topics are. You know, that's freaking new age, to be talking about quote unquote positivity and negativity, because a lot of times what you might think is positive and good is it will anger God, in the like the biblical God, the Christian God, that if you think it's positive or good, it anger it can anger him, and be not be looked at as good in his eyes. And it seems like everybody's trying to play God and judge me, like the idiot trolls from yesterday. um like I woke up this morning with that heavily unwanted and intrusive in my mind. Like nobody says anything when people call me crazy all the time, and people call me fat and greedy, and they can call me childish and immature, but then you telling me stop, don't call people names. Why the hell are you defending these perps if you claim to be targeted because you a perp? And that guy tell me you stop calling people a narcissist. Why? Because you're one. And you know what? The guy who calls himself, I mean, it's like he got to me worse than Delani Ellis or Ellison or whatever. He got to me worse than a Lonnie person. I woke up this morning with this on my mind, not by choice, and I woke up still like agitated and frustrated. Talk about stop calling people names. You're damn near 40 years old. And I mean, but you don't think that you being verbally abusive is childish? Psychologically and mentally heavy, abusive and childish? I mean, you don't think being disrespectful to somebody that's older than you don't think that's childish? If I didn't call you fake and crusty, why the hell should it matter to you that you just come on a random video, like the video that I did about the gang stalking perp, that was wearing a red, that everybody ganged up on me on that video. I mean, that why you brought up my homeless situation, that's what narcissistic abusers do. It's like they want to try to tell you off about yourself, and bring up, something that you're struggling with that's unrelated to the topic that you're upset about. Like, say if somebody get mad at me because I accidentally waste a whole gallon of red soda a 2 liter red soda on the floor, like some strawberry Fanta, and then a narcissistic abuser would get mad at me and then condemn me, being like, that's why you can't get no job. And I'm like, what the hell me can't not being able to get a job has to do with me accidentally wasting a 2 liter soda? I'm just using that for example. So if you, it's like, how the hell you gonna call me childish for calling somebody a name when gang stalking perps call us names all the time? And gang stalking perps do childish shit all the time. And you being narcissistic and abusive and trying to control a stranger, you're trying to boss and control a stranger. You live way up north and I'm way in the south. You have nothing to do with me and I have nothing to do with you. And I'm older than you. So You're not gonna try to fix me. You're not gonna try to control me, and you attempt to try to block me again. I'm sorry. You attempt to try to contact me again. I'm gonna block you again, and I'm gonna keep bringing your ass up for as long as for as often and as long as I need to. You know how the fuck you expect me if you're a dude, you're a guy, and you expect me to come live all the way out there with you, and you're abusive like that. You're the crazy one, you're the strange one. And he said that he's not a perp. He said he's targeted too, but a perp had told me that his exact, not everything, but like a lot of his exact words, saying that yeah, this other person said to come live with you. Come live with them, and you turned that down. And this person gave you good advice. Like it's good in your opinion, not really, you know. And then that DJ person tries to say your way of doing things is not working, and time is not on our side. And you admit that you smoke weed and you against Jesus. So I don't want to live with. When that was another thing holding me back. All these people wanted to rent a room to me, but then they smoke weed and slash or cigarettes, and so and I had this person, a hardcore Butch Man Dyke, fake gangster thug, who was in New Orleans, and she wanted to rent me a room for $300, and I just had to turn it down because she was smoking weed heavily in her car. So and then I heard stories about somebody accidentally inhale weed and then they lose a job, they fail a drug test. So weed and cigarettes smother me worse than wearing a mask. You know, I'm getting my damn feelings out. I'm not holding them in, whether whoever wants to hear them or not. You know, I'm getting my feelings out. You know, so how do you know if that person gave good advice to come stay with them, and that person, as I said, that person might be a human trafficker, that person might be a mass murderer. I've had a bad experience more than once with come and live with somebody, move off. I was familiarized with Miss Lisa Ruby for over 6 months, like for almost a year at least, through phone and internet contact. And then look what she did to me. And she's professed to be Christian and a targeted individual and against the Illuminati and fighting the New World Order and stuff like that. And she exploited other people too. And the whole time I lived in Greenville, South Carolina, I got nothing but attacked and blamed for what she did to me. And so that's another reason why I don't ever want to even go set foot back into the state of South Carolina ever again. And I have my reasons for never wanting to set foot back in Texas ever again. You know, and or this state or that state. So it's like um people are upset with me for being happy with wanting to stay here in Florida, you know, well, Pensacola. Um, but if I would like one lady, she said she's targeted. She said she had a friend in Foley, Alabama. I said I would love to go stay in Foley, but I can't because if there's no if there's it sounds kind of quiet and less urban. So if I were to go stay in Foley, Alabama, I wouldn't mind it, but the problem is I don't have I need a car, and they don't have bus transportation. So you know there are some places that I'm more open to living in, but I don't have a vehicle. I don't have a car, and that's another thing that's hindering me. You know, I would be more open to living in certain places if I had a car and a little more money. Like not that much more money, but just enough to get by and survive. They had this place, I think it was called Cantonment. I thought it was Cantonment, but Cantonment, Florida. That the place in Cantonment, Florida is you know, I think they had like a trailer or some or mobile, not a mobile home, but more like a trailer. And um it's like I would have wanted to go stay there, but they just have so many requirements. So I recently, like, once I got back from Alabama, I just quit looking for jobs and housing on Craigslist, since almost everything and everybody's a freaking scam nowadays. So, I'm trying to get my mind back on track. Um, Fighting this sleep deprivation so I can be functional to write my books. But y'all try to silence me with that too. I really hate somebody always bullying and abusing you and putting you down and nag your conscience and make you feel bad and make you feel like you're just so pathetic. like if you verbally abuse me over the phone and with your YouTube comments, why would I come live with you? if all you're gonna do is batter me and try to deliberately on purpose, drive me to wipe myself off of the face of this earth, and you probably will rape me too. I mean, this person claims to be a targeted individual, but he hides who he really is. So that's how I know he's a perp. And then people just, when somebody call you, oh, you're a fake targeted individual, they just blindly go with that person, blindly go along with what that person says rather than investigating or looking further at videos. I mean, more video evidence of videos or whatever, my Instagram account or my blog or Twitter or whatever, you know, even a little bit on Facebook. But I don't post much on Facebook. It seems like, shucks, I can say, that I'm feeling I can say in a Facebook group, well, hey, I'm feeling it vibrating. Is anybody else does anybody else suffer the vibrating torture? And then it get marked spam. So I'm like, the hell with these fake book groups. That's why I call it fake, FAKEBOOK, fake book. I didn't even want to get back on social media. But, and then that DJ person said, well, if you stop crying and acting like a big baby, stop being abusive, and you don't try to tell me how to act or try to control or police how I should act. If I'm that much of a problem, you block and delete me, and you should you know stop watching and commenting and acting like you're trying to monitor, spy on, and control me. And that goes for all of you perps who, what, fake targets or real or perps. Stop trying to stay following me, stay subscribed to me, and constantly watching my videos and condemning and trying to tell me off about myself. If y'all had that much time on your hands to freaking worry about me, it's y'all the ones who's freaking mentally ill and need to get help. You know, I'm sitting here battling and fighting. You know, I mean, after last night and this morning, made me feel like, well, what's the point of trying to get housing again if this is the torture they putting me through? That they trying to run the perps are trying to run me out this hotel room. But even if it's not the vibrating, it's like and um they come and they come right by my door, you know, and go around to the side of the building and then do who knows what. And then come, it's like these gang stalking persons, as I said before, they trespass on private property, you know, and I've seen them do it, just drive up in somewhere. But if I'm, it's like, if I it's like the gang stalking perps are above the law. And they have so many infiltrators, um, that it's hard to, like, people make it like they blur the lines and make it hard to distinguish between what's real or whatever. But as I said before, do they falsely assume I'm fake because they feel like my struggles aren't that bad in their opinion? If they feel like my struggles aren't that bad, and I have stages of I have symptoms from phases 1, 2, and 3 gang stalking, but not the severe fourth one. You know, you expect me to come up dead for you to take me seriously as a real targeted individual, you know? And if even if somebody else is targeted, when two targeted individuals have an argument or a falling out with each other, um that's when the gang stalkers, they attack us even more heavy, and I end up being on the verge of a mental breakdown, and then people kick me down even harder rather than being supportive of me. And it's like, I really hate how I'm persistently and consistently telling the truth and showing my evidence and still being kicked down and attacked and called fake. So that's how, I mean, and if it's like people, these gang stalking perps and narcissistic abusers, they throw in solutions that they know and I know won't work for me, and then get mad at me for rejecting their so-called advice. But then if I went over to Alabama, I'm sorry, not Alabama, Arizona, to the, I mean, how the hell people, like, people try to say that, like the person who said that he was living in California but then moved to Mexico and said that he's not being gang stalked, and then that person, people like, yeah, he's giving you good advice. Well, people said that the gang stalking will follow you everywhere you go, and it has followed me everywhere I go. So I mean, I can't take you seriously if it does follow, if the gang stalking does follow you everywhere you'll go, and you might be a narcissistic perp wanting narcissistic supply or something, like that DJ person wanting me to come up to Wisconsin for narcissistic supply. So I'm gonna talk to y'all later. Bye.